Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Nick Tan Chats, my magic and mostly mentalism review show. My name is Nick Tan, and today I'm going to be doing a really quick review for you guys about a routine from Barry Fazackerley, something he calls the routine. So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As always, thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for spending some time with me. So the more observant of you will notice that I'm not shooting this video in like my regular setting. I'm actually currently shooting this video in my wife's school. So my wife actually runs a student care center, right here in Singapore for primary school students. And she's currently in another classroom running some evening tuition classes. So I've got about an hour or two, and I thought, you know what, I would just, make use of this time and really quickly sneak in a video for you guys. So today we'll be looking at something called The Routine, by Barry Fazackerley of Black Cat Magic. So what is the routine? The routine is actually a card routine, okay? So this is card magic, which features a whole string of card effects that are designed for use in a professional mingling environment. The routine is performed with a regular deck of cards and also 2 extra cards which you will need to add to whatever deck you're using. However, everything is ungaffed, okay? So there are no special cards to worry about. All you're handling are just regular playing cards. So this is also a multi-phased routine, okay? So if you look at the ad copy on Black Cat Magic, it is stated there that the whole routine is actually 7 phases long. After I looked at it, it's more of to me at least, alright, it's more of 7 parts in 4 phases. So, phase 1 is actually made up of parts 1 and 2. Phase 2 is made up of parts 3 and 4. Phase 3 is made up of parts 5 and 6. And the last and final part, part number 7 is what forms phase number 4, the final climax to the whole routine. Some of the effects that are included inside this whole string of routines, are things like the Chicago opener. There is a location effect along with an ambitious card sequence. There is also a card transposition effect. And finally, right at the end of the whole routine, there is a card to impossible location as well. So as you can tell already, all really strong, practical worker effects. So I first got to know about Barry through Facebook, sometime last year, just after the middle of last year, when I did 2 review episodes for Black Cat Magic. I did one episode for the Alchemist book test and also another episode which featured some other items that Black Cat Magic was carrying. Barry is also a professional performer, and this particular release of his called The Routine, is something that he has been performing at his professional gigs for the past decade. And he asked if I would be interested to have a look at it. And when I heard about it being a worker routine, I was immediately interested to have a look at it because being a professional performer myself, I immediately knew the value of such routines, worker routines which are designed for real-world performances. So I was performing quite actively as a close-up magician sometime from the mid-90s, I think, all the way to about maybe 2010 or so, thereabouts. And during that time, I really, honed my skills, I suppose, in close-up magic, and I kind of really understood the whole spirit about worker material. Because if you're performing close-up magic professionally, at a professional gig, the material that you perform, and I'm sure many of you close-up performers out there, if you're working professionally, you'll understand what I mean. You will have a set of material that is used for working, for gigging, and then then comes the other side of magic, the fun side, where you can do all the impractical material, all those that involve heavy setup, long drawn presentations and stuff. All that is fine, buying magic, okay, all that is the fun part of magic, but worker material, I think, is kind of like a category all by itself. Usually it features really practical, solid, tried and tested material. I think that there are some characteristics about worker material that are quite consistent. So first of all, the issue about reset. Okay, back then when I was performing, close-up gigs, reset was really important to me, and I was really quite scrupulous, about designing the material so that everything reset. All right, sometimes at the expense of methods and at the expense of effects as well. And when I say reset, I really mean instant reset. Okay, I didn't even want to reposition anything, I really wanted everything by the end of the whole routine to end up in exactly the same pocket that it started in, and not only that, but also in the same order as well. So after I finish a group, I can immediately, literally immediately just turn and just start performing again without having to worry about reset of any kind. Next, something really important to me at the time as well was pocket management, all right, pocket space. Right when I first started doing professional performances, I'm sure some of you probably have done this before. You know, I went out with like, you know, a TT in this pocket over here, an invisible deck here, a regular deck here, some coins in this pocket and a purse, a jumbo coin in the back pocket, a card to wallet here, an ITR here, sponge balls in the left trouser pocket. There was just so much stuff on me. I was armed to the teeth, literally, right? But then when I went out to perform, and then at the end of the night, I just realized that I ended up just using maybe the deck of cards and maybe the sponge balls. So it really took me some time to realize that as a professional performer, all right, and I'm just speaking for myself, okay, some guys I know, you know, they work really hard, and I've got a lot of funny stories as well working with other magicians, and I see the amount of stuff that they bring. But for me at least, I know that I really didn't need that much material to entertain people at one event. One more consideration for me at the time was that the material was relatively simple to execute. I can do difficult material, okay, I can, but I think, you know, when I'm out there, you know, under fire, performing repeatedly, group after group after group, I really wanted to be able to relax, technically at least, okay? And not have to worry about, you know, flashing things or, you know, really difficult moves and sleight of hand and stuff like that. And I found that the easier the material became, I mean, to a decent level, you know, I don't want to be performing crap stuff as well, but the easier the material became to execute, I found that my effectiveness as an entertainer just kind of went up, and it allowed me to relax and just focus on entertaining the audiences and focusing on the audience's experience of the magic. So what do you get when you purchase the routine? Okay, so you will get links, all right, to 6 videos, I believe, that will take you through everything you need to know to perform the whole thing. On the video, there'll be an introduction video. You know, Barry will discuss with you the background behind the routine, his motivation for coming up with this routine, and then he'll perform the whole routine to the camera so you can get an idea of how the whole thing flows. And then, of course, he will break down the whole thing and teach you in detail, all right, every single phase and how to perform the whole routine. So let's talk about the routine, you know, in general, all right? I like the routine in that, you know, it shares a lot of characteristics with my approach towards card magic back when I was performing professionally as a card magician. You know, for some of the reasons that I discussed earlier, you know, in terms of reset, in terms of pocket management, it's all you need is just one deck of cards and you are set to perform, you know, a whole card set. One consideration is that the routine is also modular, okay, which means, of course, you don't have to perform the whole routine in its entirety. You could just start performing the routine, you know, right at the beginning and then just stop after, you know, phase 1 and phase 2. And then, you know, if the group is responsive and you can get more time with them, you can go on to phase 3 and 4, and then maybe you could push on all the way to the end for the finale, which is the card to impossible location. I also like it that it features quite visual card magic, you know, material that people can just watch and immediately kind of understand what is going on, all right, which I think is quite an important consideration, you know, because in some environments, you know, it can be quite noisy, and trying to deliver patter-heavy routines can be quite a challenge. So let's talk a little bit about each of the individual phases, alright? So for the first phase, parts 1 and 2, it is basically the Chicago opener. If you've been in card magic for any amount of time, I'm sure you will know this particular effect, which was, I think, probably published in like the 1950s or so by L. Leach, I think. So if you don't know the effect, really briefly, alright, a spectator, you know, chooses a card, they sign their name on the card, it is replaced back in the deck, and magic moment, it is found to have a different colored back than the rest of the deck. So that forms part 1. The card is then set aside, alright, the odd back card is set aside. Another card is kind of thought of, okay, they choose another card, and then it is found that the odd back card has changed to the second card. The next phase, alright, which is made up of parts 3 and 4, alright, there's a location effect. Okay, so very briefly what happens is the deck is spread face down, the spectator is invited to just touch the back of any card, and then it is found that the card that they chose at random is the original signed card, alright, from the first phase, because if you remember, the signed card is actually transformed into a second random card. So the spectator has somehow managed to, you know, find the signed card, alright? So that's part 3, and then we move on to part 4, which is basically an ambitious card sequence, alright? I mean, it's not really a sequence. The card is just made to rise once in the deck. But within the presentation of the whole routine, Barry will explain to you why he believes that just doing one phase and at this point in the routine makes that one phase play really strongly. And then we move on to the next phase, which is parts 5 and 6. Now this involves a transposition, okay, a transposition effect of the signed card along with just one more random card in the deck. Now for this phase, I've performed similar routines before, the method is not like new, but I do know that it plays really strongly, okay? Really strongly, but well, while it plays really strongly, I do think that there are some spectators, I'm not sure, they may not say it, but I kind of can suss out or feel that they kind of guess at the method, so while it is a really strong effect for certain groups, those who are really responsive and they really immerse themselves in the magic, there are some groups that I think they kind of know the method at some level. They don't understand it completely, but they can kind of guess at it, which kind of irritated me, at a certain level. But yeah, all right, this is the card transposition effect, which forms the next phase, parts 5 and 6. Which brings us to the end of the routine, all right, which is the last phase, which is part number 7, all right, and this is actually the card to impossible location bit of the whole routine. I mean, card to impossible location, I think really standard way to end, a card sequence, ambitious card routine, for example. But what I think, what it has going on here is that whatever you need to do, all right, to get the card to the impossible location, it's a good time that is built into this routine because the audience, they are reacting to the transposition effect, all right? So if you had the card under their hand, for example, they are lifting up their hand and they are turning over the card and they are like reacting to that moment. And it is that moment, the sign card is already with you, okay? It is that moment that you can do whatever needs to be done to get it to be where it needs to be. So overall, there's nothing new, all right? There's nothing new about this whole project in terms of methods or effects. And I say that in the nicest possible way, all right? I don't mean it in like a negative way at all, because these are really, all right, tried, tested, and really dependable, stuff. And if you're already like an accomplished card magician and you've got some experience performing card magic, or if you're already, performing gigs, all right, you're a professional performer, well, this may not be for you. I don't know, because well, you probably already have your own kind of sequences that you enjoy using. And well, Barry has not given like a performance demo of this whole routine, all right, because well, it's easily reconstructed, I suppose. However, all right, I think the value in this, all right, in this particular release is that Barry is actually sharing with you a way of doing all the effects in this sequence and having everything reset, all right, ready to go once you end the routine at any point. Okay, so regardless of where you end the routine in the whole sequence of effects, the whole routine is ready to be performed again. All right, there's no reset. There's no like searching for one card and then replacing it on the face of the deck, or like searching for that stranger card and replacing it somewhere. Everything is reset the moment you choose to stop the routine at any point. So if you are interested to learn a professional card magic routine, all right, and if you don't have a routine already, all right, that you can confidently perform for your shows, then you can have a look at The Routine by Barry Fazackerley. I'd like to thank Barry for sending me this so that I can chat with you guys about it on this show. If you'd like to pick up a copy of The Routine for yourself, I will leave the link in the description box down below. And of course, before I go, if you guys are new to the channel, all right, or if you have been here before to check out my content, and if you enjoy my videos, if you get value out of my videos, do subscribe to the channel, all right, hit the subscribe button, like this video as well, hit the bell notification button as well so that you'll be notified every single time I upload a new video on YouTube. Your support really means a lot to me and it really helps keep me going on this YouTube journey of mine, all right, so do subscribe to the channel. Alright, coming up next in the future episodes, I think something really exciting is in the mail and it's on the way. It involves a wallet. Okay, it involves a wallet, I will just say that much, but I'm really excited about it because I've already watched the instructional video, okay, and I think this will be something really cool for me to have a look at on this show with you guys. So till next time, alright, do take care of yourselves, enjoy your magic, and stay safe, and I will see you on a future episode of Nique Chats.